In this video, I'll run through how to set up and use taper angle control and variable offset control in IGEMS 2021. Taper angle control can only be used if you have our Apex 65 axis head. The variable offset control can be used both with the Apex 60 head as well as 2D heads, since there's no moving of any A and C axes involved with the variable offset control. The taper angle control helps to reduce the taper top to bottom on a part when you do waterjet cutting at different speeds. And then the variable offset control changes the tool offset as your speed changes. So once we create a tool path around this part here, you'll see that when we're at a slow area and then as the speed increases, the offset will change. And that's because as you cut slower with waterjet, your kerf width gets a little bit wider, and conversely, as you get cut faster, it gets slightly narrower. And with the variable offset control, you're able to basically adjust or compensate for a bit of that change in your tool radius as you're cutting along there. So if you go up into your, first of all, for the Apex 60 machine settings, if you click on the machine icon and you go down to the 5-axis kinematic area, if taper angle control is something that you're going to want to use all the time, which once you have the numbers in the material you might as well, you can come down about halfway and you can click this button here, default TAC on, and then the taper angle control can be applied to every part that you program. And then we're going to look in this case at 1/2-inch aluminum. And so here we can click on the edit material button. And you scroll down here a bit, you've got this box here for VOC, TAC. So we do have some numbers in here for many of the metals already, aluminum, stainless, mild steel, a few others. But if you've got a new thickness or material that's not already in the database, the basic idea would be to program a shape like they've got here. And in the background, I've got one that's programmed basically 2 inches by 2 inches with 1/2-inch fingers. And you cut the left half at the rough speed, and you cut the right half at the extra fine speed, and then you take measurements A, B, C, and D. So B minus A will give you the taper angle control number for the rough speed, and then D minus C is going to give us our taper angle control for extra fine speed, and then between those two the numbers are interpolated. And then the other thing is the VOC, and basically what they'll do is subtract C from A. And so normally in this example here we had 1/2-inch at the top of the rough area, and we measured 497 at the top of the extra fine area. So that's generally what you're going to see is 2, 3, maybe 4 thou difference between the two. Generally it's going to be probably 2 to 3. And then for the taper angle control, generally you're probably going to find at the rough speed you're probably around 25 thou taper. At the extra fine speed you're probably somewhere around 15 or so. So if you're just thumb sucking some numbers and you want to plug some things in, these would probably be fairly decent starting point for general range of like 1/4 inch through 2 inch. Now what we'll do is go ahead and apply this. So I'll go ahead and create my part. And then I'm going to go ahead and I won't create my toolpath right now. I'll go into my quality area and apply quality. So I'll do the rough from, I'll generally start somewhere over here to the midpoint of here. And then I'll do the extra fine from, we'll just go from here to here. And I'll put a toolpath on here. Let's switch to my metal. Usually you're going to want to have a tab on the outside so this doesn't fall into the tank. So we'll put that at the top middle here. And then I'll hit enter. So if I click on the quality, I've got my qualities on there. And just as a side note, if you go into part and the TAC lag button here, so since this is highlighted in yellow, that shows that the taper angle control will be applied to this. If you decide for whatever reason after you've applied the taper angle control you don't want to do it, you can just click on here, remove it, or if you want to put it on to an older part that you hadn't applied it to, you can just click on there and turn it on. So then we'll go ahead and we'll just set our 00 point on here and create our file. If you go into the settings area and strategy and then go to the cutting area, you have these buttons here for, or these selections here for TAC and VOC, so you can set these to these 4 different options here, and same thing VOC. And then when we we'll do a preview here, you got your buttons here where you can decide if you do want to turn them off. And we'll zoom in on this when we get around the corner here. Back up a little bit here. So here we'll see as we go into that rough area, see how this toolpath here is moving in towards the part slightly, and that's the VOC coming into play. And then also, as we see here, we have our A and C numbers for our taper angle control. So then if you measure a part, cut a part like this, measure it, find out maybe there's still a couple thou taper, you can go back into your material and then just scroll down here and add a couple thou and try it again. But that's the basic idea. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Thanks.